It's a wonderful day to be a woman in Parliament, isn't it? And to be joined by so many nurses. I'm so happy to see you. I'm also very happy to see my older sister sitting right there. I'm a bit nervous, but I'm really happy that the nursing fraternity has joined us for a very important day for you, for women. Today, it gives me great pleasure to report in this section of our sitting on our transition to a sustainable island state and the work that both the Ministries of Sustainable Development and the Ministry of Environment and Climate Action and Constituency Empowerment have been doing to ensure that our 2023 budget presentation and policy presentation to the nation continues with our full ministerial work. I should confirm that the Parks and Beaches unit has comfortably transitioned to the Ministry of Environment, having moved from the Ministry of Public Health. The Parks and Beaches unit is our ground game, so to speak, as it relates to very tangible and obvious steps towards transitioning to sustainable island state. I can gladly report that they have accepted an additional remit to their operations, which is not only cleaning the verges and the guts, but also assisting with our Recycle SKN project in collecting plastic bottles that we often see on the sides of the road when we travel through the country. And you'll notice an increase in plastic bottles after a heavy rain event, which means our guts also need addressing. The coastal management continues. We recently received sponsorship, partnership, and grant support from the Canadian Overseas Development Agency for sargassum seaweed. I'm very, very happy to report on the Ocean School Initiative. This was the introduction. The introduction of the Ocean School Initiative features marine biodiversity awareness in terms of improving our ocean's health. The project is in partnership with the University of Dalhousie, and I want to take this moment to Dalhousie in Canada, and I want to take this moment to thank the High Commissioner, Her Excellency Sherry Truss, for working with the Permanent Secretaries Rattan and Bass in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to facilitate the implementation of the Ocean School project. Researchers and videographers were here just last week and the week before documenting our work in St. Kitts and Nevis. This is also intimately tied to the recent completion of our Corvi research, which is a partnership with the Taiwan ICDF and the Taiwan Ocean Affairs Council and the Stimson Center. Last weekend in Panama, the Ministry of Environment was able to present its results in terms of the Partnership for Climate Risk Assessment. And I'll say very briefly that the initial survey results indicate that climate risk negatively impacts economic tourism for St. Kitts and Nevis. Travel and tourism, our primary industry and employer in Bastia, St. Kitts, for example, and its surrounding areas is at high risk from climate change, and as such should be prioritized not just by the Ministry of Tourism and the Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Environment, but all ministries which are linked to tourism. We continue our Recycle SKN project. Last week, we saw the installation of our plastic collection bins at the Dean Glassford Primary School. Thank you to the Prime Minister for taking time from his schedule to join his alma mater. Yes, alma mater. And the students were very appreciative. We again extend thanks to Taiwan ICDF for their continued partnership as we transition to a sustainable island state through education. The Invasive Alien Species Project, we're the green monkey subspecies. I want to use this opportunity to indicate to the general public that we no longer refer to our monkey as the green vervet monkey, it is its own subspecies, the green monkey. Minister Evelyn was one of our champions last year and the year before on the invasive species project. So I want to thank you for that and commit to continuing the work that you started with this project. We now welcome the Ministry of Agriculture back to the Invasive Alien Species Project, and we had a joint conference last week with all our stakeholders, farmers, tourism operators, research institutes. We had at the event our civil society, media personnel, and it was a very intense and informative discussion on the management strategies for the green monkey. We recognize that once we solve this particular problem, and as the Minister of Agriculture mentioned in his statement then, there are over 30,000 monkeys in St. Kitts and Nevis. 30. And each monkey, and I draw on his reference at the presentation then, each monkey contributes to 1 pound of, each monkey eats at least 1 pound of food every single day. And 1 pound translates into dollars, and dollars translates into more than half of our food budget in terms of import and loss. So there is a real need to confirm our management strategies for the monkey. At this time, I want to take the opportunity to thank the Ministry of Environment and the Ministry of Agriculture, in particular the Department of Environment, Dr. Kerry Dorr, who has been the national coordinator and resident researcher for this program, the director of the project, Mr. Evan Parry, and all of the communication workers who have been ensuring that we understand what needs to be done based on our daily data collection and interaction with our farmers. I am happy to report that the Department of Constituency Empowerment has again been operationalized after a 7-year hiatus. We are clear, I was being cheeky, but we are clear on our mission to use the empowerment agenda through the Department of Constituency Empowerment, not only to enhance local governance, but to empower the regular, average, every single person in St. Kitts and Nevis through our empowerment and constituency profiling agenda. As it relates to the Ministry of Sustainable Development, more specifically, I reported and have been reporting on the continued work of the Land Task Force, of the Land Project, and our next phase, having done our community engagement and our assessment of data, is to establish a Land Task Force. And this task force has been tasked or commissioned specifically to address the distribution and allocation of land, as well as to work on the digitization of our land database, as well as establishing through legislative requirements the land cadastral system, which should solve many of the problems that we are currently facing. And these are generational problems, clearly, with land. We have received our first draft of our National Development Plan 2023 to 2032. Our last development plan, which was the adaptation strategy in response to the EU sugar reform, that was 2013 and then extended to 2017. And since 2017, the country has been operating without a national vision for development. Thankfully, we now have a first draft of our National Development Plan, which takes us into the next 15 years. This also includes our Urban Resilience Plan. A critical component of tourism development and climate-proofing development is urban resilience in Bastia. This speaks not just to how we use our facilities, but also to housing, to development, to addressing the abandoned properties in Bastia, street vending, and also pedestrianizing parts of Bastia to allow for visitors and locals to have the best experience in urban Bastia. We have extended it to other urban areas, including Sandy Point, Keon, and new areas such as the St. Peter's areas, which is very urban. We are preparing for our voluntary national review. This is scheduled for July. A task force has already been established with the support of ECLAC. This will present what the situation is for St. Kitts and Nevis. If you do check our SDG Sustainable Development Goals dashboard online, we have not been very up to date on our reporting, and we will and have made a commitment to improving this. I close by stating that St. Kitts and Nevis has received its 5th GCF, that's the Green Climate Fund, 5th GCF readiness support. And this is to support our nationally determined contributions. And I end by saying that we have reached the furthest we have ever reached in terms of GCF grant. We are now much closer to accessing our $40 million grant for our Trans Water project. So yes, the Minister of Water would be very pleased with that. We at the Ministry of Environment and Sustainable Development recognize that we are uniquely poised to support critical ministries: environment, water, energy, tourism, education, and of course, we continue doing so with the support of the Ministry of Finance. I want to thank all of the workers, my 2 PSs, PS Ratan and PS Dur, for their continued support in mobilizing the ministry to adopt and move forward with the government's agenda for our transformation to a sustainable island state. Thank you.